And Mahfuz, you are there. So we are going to start with you this afternoon. You are our first guest speaker. So Mahfuz Çetin, you are SME expert at GOSGAP. It's the SME development organization in Turkey. Currently, you drive entrepreneurial success at GOSGAP. So you support SMEs in reaching potential and ensuring strategic growth. You are committed to entrepreneurship, you offer workshops, and you share best practices across Turkey. So Mahfuz, if you are ready, the floor is yours. You can share your screen. And I think the sound is already very good. We already had the chance to chat. And thank you so much for your time and for this presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. I want to share, but my share button is not active, I think.
Okay, so then Elise is going to share your presentation, no worries. It's because you maybe joined not as a presenter, but we're going to share now your presentation, and you just tell us when we need to go on the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Elise.
Yes. We can pass. Hello, everybody. It is a really pleasure for me to be in this valuable Transeo group with valuable experiences sharing. Today I want to talk about family business succession problems, and not only in Turkey but also in the world. This is an important issue because there is a really paradox here, because mainly in Turkey 98% of companies and SMEs are family businesses. In the world this is 90%, as Donato maybe can also accept, in Italy there are also lots of family businesses. These family businesses are the main source of taxes, labor, and contribution to GDP are very, very high. But the transition and succession to second generation, the third generation, and the fourth generation is very, very, very low, alarming levels. For example, in the world, only 4% of the family businesses can pass to the fourth generation, and in this ratio in Turkey is only 2%. I want to deep dive into this paradox, because I'm saying that they are very important companies, but as governments and as organizations, we're not giving the appropriate importance to these companies. Can we pass to the second? Sorry. Second, can we pass to the second slide?
Okay.
Yes. As I mentioned, the family businesses are main source of tax and labor, and but there is a problem too in succession problems. There are lots of reasons, but I have defined these reasons into two dimensions. Next slide, please. Yes. Succession is widely considered the most frequently researched topic in family businesses literature. The inability to survive beyond a few generations is. I have shortened my slides, but unfortunately I can't share it. Sorry. Yes. Next slide, please. Can we pass next slide? Yes. Maria, I have changed my presentation very much. Can I go on my presentation?
Yes, you can send it to me by email. Unfortunately, sorry for the inconvenience for the attendees.
Maybe I can continue from here on my own presentation.
Sure, you can try to share.
If my voice is okay. Yes. There is an issue in Turkey's literature, and I have found lots of articles about this issue, especially the Altmans issue. He is defining that the core succession problem is the founder's anxiety about what will happen to me if control is relinquished. And the Altman defined this term as the retirement in the grave. Retirement in the grave. This is the main emotional problem of succession and next generational problems. We can also, from the emotional side, I want to pass to the contextual side. Empirical analyses show that there are four components of the failure of the transfers. One is context. The second is individual relationship. The third is process, and the fourth is the governance factors. The highest influence on failure probability comes from process factors, and we can define the process factors as lack of clearly defined roles, poor communication, failure to train successors, etc. And the governance factors, these two factors are the third and the fourth factors are the main barriers in front of the transfers. And the governance factors, for example, the family comprised board of directors, CEO chairman duality. These two factors are the main problems of the transfers. I want to pass to the second. Also, there are lots of empirical analyses about firm size and the likelihood of intra-family succession failure. So,
sorry, but we cannot see your slides. Is it on purpose?
Yes.
Otherwise, it's okay. You can continue like this, but.
Yes, I can't share my slide because, but maybe I will read the heading and you can open from there. Yeah. While starting. Firm size modulates the likelihood of intra-family succession failure. Can you find? Firm size?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to share. Continue. We're going to share the slides.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is an important point because how external factors like size influence success rates. Smaller firms face a statistically higher probability of failure in achieving intra-family succession. It's about 46% of probability for firms with less than 50 employees compared to the larger firms. It is 43% for those over 100 employees. So the succession, probability of succession and passing to the next generation is much more better for large companies, according to the articles I have searched. And now I'm passing to the section B, Maria, succession as a driver of innovation and adaptation. Also, while in succession, the innovation and adaptation capability of the company is so important. What defines the innovation and adaptation capability of company, especially the role of entrepreneurial characteristics of founders and digital transformation for future competitiveness of the company. As we see also in Turkey, the best practices of companies that are passing to the other generation, the different side of these companies are their role of entrepreneurial characteristics, the founders of entrepreneurial characteristics, and digital transformation for future competitiveness. And I'm moving the next, early stage succession intention drives current innovation strategy. We move from the, what about the innovation strategies? We move from the challenge to the solution, of course, focusing on proactive planning. Research confirms that an entrepreneur's intention to transfer ownership to their children significantly enhances current innovation activities. This early stage planning, which looks beyond the immediate present, positively influences not just internal processes, product and process innovation, but also external collaboration, innovation partnership. And I'm passing to the entrepreneurial characteristics determine the effectiveness of innovation strategies. The success of innovation linked to succession planning is not universal. It is moderated by the incumbent leader's characteristics. Yes, this can be learned, of course, and improved, but the entrepreneurs, the founder's entrepreneurial characteristics is very important while passing to next generations. And the other important, I'm passing to the digital innovation in smaller family businesses is driven by successors. Digital innovations are frequently a result of joint efforts between founders and successors, or driven primarily by the younger generations, often incorporating tools like information technologies, cloud computing, and successors demonstrate better understanding, flexibility, and readiness of risk-taking necessary for these technologies compared to older generations. This is also the capability of digital transformation is important for passing to the next generations. I'm passing to the last section, C, financial consideration, governance practices, and policy recommendations, the last part of my presentation. We can say that financial decision-making processes of family firms focusing on the influence of socio-emotional wealth and the impact of financial stress. This socio-emotional wealth is very important in family businesses. This can sometimes come in front of the taking crucial actions in economic situations, but we will also explore the governance practices and policy recommendations to foster innovation-led growth and ensure the long-term viability of family businesses. This is my family firms, mainly I'm passing to the next, socio-emotional wealth are key mediating drivers of financial decisions. Family firms are mainly focused on protecting their socio-economic, socio-emotional wealth. And this socio-emotional wealth comes, unfortunately, before the socio-economical wealth sometimes, which includes family control, long-term goals, and reputations. Their decision to avoid taking on too much debt is because borrowing money brings in outside creditors. These outsiders might challenge the family's control and influence, risking the CEO they want to protect. So family firms tend to limit debt to keep their control and value safe. This is, I think, very, very important in family businesses. Uh, my last three slides are financial stress forces a trade-off, weakening CEO's preservative influence. When a family firm faces a performance shortfall, negative performance aspiration gap, the influence of CEO preservation weakens or reverses. Under financial distress, family firms prioritize economic survival over non-economic goals, exhibiting a stronger preferences for leverage to ensure the firm's existence. This shift is consistent with the mixed gamble approach, where family members are willing to risk socio-emotional wealth losses for potential gains in financial stability. Uh, of course, Turkish corporate governance principles enforce mandatory provisions for listed companies, but including compliance with IFRS and the requirements for independent directors on audit committees. However, weaknesses persist in practice, such as the frequent inclusion of executives on compensation committees, raising concerns about conflicts of interest. Furthermore, the institutional environment suffers from lengthy judicial resolution processes. Evidences by the 2050 EBRD assessment, we can see that there are some lag points also in Turkey. Policy intervention must align succession with innovation-led growth. Public policy must prioritize and promote formal succession planning, family governance trainings, and the selection of competent managers. Incentives such as tax credits and matching grants for R&D or digital adaptation should be introduced at the time of transfer to catalyze the renewal. Legal reforms are necessary to simplify transfer, strengthen minority protection, and streamline dispute resolution processes, reducing the transaction cost for long-run growth. My last wrap-up slide is about challenges. I have defined the challenges and impact of the transition. Despite their vital role in economy, family businesses face high rates in cross-generational transfer processes. Psychological resistance from founders to relinquish control and inadequate governance and processes further increase this vulnerability. Opportunities, how about the opportunities for innovation adaptation? A successful transition, especially driven by educated and new generation leaders, can propel firms toward innovation through product, process, and digital transformation, thus gaining a competitive advantage with these properties. Also, socio-emotional, I have defined about the socio-emotional wealth and financial decisions. Financial decisions in family businesses are shaped by socio-emotional wealth objectives such as family control and reputation, often leading to avoidance of excessive debt. However, financial difficulties and survival priorities may alter this tendency. A comprehensive approach is essential. We have to look these comprehensive approaches. Long-term sustainability can be achieved not only through robust financial strategies, but also by transparent governance, well-defined processes, early planning, and targeted public policies that support innovation-driven growth, such as tax incentives and legal reforms. This is the last slide of my. Sorry for the.
Thank you, Mahfouz. And maybe I would have one. Thank you so much. I would have one question, maybe for our audience who don't know about Turkey. So you explained really well the situation, but what would be your main challenge? Because we see that each country tries to develop ecosystem, you know, to help sellers and buyers transfer and acquire businesses. So what's a bit, in a few words, like informally, could you share what's your biggest problem in Turkey, and are the authorities aware, and what are you going to do? What help would you like to have? Also good practices from other countries? That would be my question, because we have about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yes, this is the main topic and a good question, I think. I think in Turkey, the main problem is the companies are not institutionalized. They are not legal and corporate companies. So the founders do not want to lose the control. The founder wants to do all of the actions and don't want to have a general manager that can control the other sides of the company. This is the fear of, I think the main problem is the first thing I have defined, the emotional problem, the fear of losing the control. And I also worked in a company, family company, and our founder, the owner of the company, was less educated, even not graduated from a university, and very dominant, and want to control all of the power in his hands.
Okay, thank you. And what are the cross-border deals for the moment? Are there a lot of foreign investors investing in Turkey, taking over Turkish firms, or also the other way around? Are Turkish firms, like with a nice size, like SMEs, buying other firms outside Turkey, like in Europe? Or do you have a bit of feedback about this, about cross-border?
Yes.
It was not planned, and it's not a planned question, but it's just for our audience. I think it would be interesting if they want to collaborate with Turkish companies.
Yes, we don't have a institution especially about family businesses. Also, in our legal documents, we don't have any definition about the family businesses. But this is a really important topic. So if family businesses cannot pass to the next generation, this takes something from the economy, because there is a huge experience in that companies comes from the founders' experiences, and but if it closed down, this all of the experience is losing. So as you know that the last year's Nobel Economic Prizes went to issues about the productivity. If 10 companies running the starting business and 10 companies losing the business, if the coming businesses are more productive, then the economy is growing, the wealth is growing. So we don't make these companies to close down. Maybe they can be sold to another companies or another entrepreneurs that is outside of the country or other parts of the...
That was my question indeed, because I think there's a lack of opportunities for foreign buyers, and there's a new market. It's a fresh issue, I think, for you. It was mostly family successions, and now you see that there's an opportunity also for cross-border deal making. So I'm not so familiar with our Turkish, M&A market, but I'm sure we can continue the discussion, and I hope our audience was also really interested about your insights. So you took a lot of time also to prepare this presentation. Really nice. Thank you so much. And by the way, it will be shared with the participants afterwards.
Yes,
So thank you so much.
exactly. I'm also sorry for the mismatch of the slides and my.
Oh, don't worry. It's fine. Thank you so much, Mahfouz. Maybe is there a question for Mahfouz in the audience? Otherwise, we will move on to the next session. No, I think that's okay. So thank you so much, Mahfouz.
Okay.
And enjoy the rest of the summit with us.